Should the Seattle Mariners consider trading JP Crawford this offseason? Let's talk about it. Hold on. Don't yell at me just yet. Hear me out for a second. So as most of you know on this channel, if I see something a few times in the Mariners Twitter or Facebook community, I'm going to bring it up in a video. And as most of us know, JP Crawford did not have the season we all anticipated coming into 2024. Especially having a career year in 2023, there were very high expectations for JP Crawford. And you know, of course, people like to talk on social media, so I have seen a few things that they should really get rid of him, or there has been a few other options floated around that I will talk about in this video as well. But I also kind of just want to go over some of the struggles JP had this year, and for some reasons that a lot of people may have not even talked about much this year at all. So nonetheless, let's get into it. So let's get into the basics. JP Crawford signed a 5-year deal with the Seattle Mariners back in 2022, where it's a 5-year, $51 million contract, where after the 2026 season, he will become a free agent. Now, some things that were not talked about enough this season from JP Crawford's side was the 2 injuries that he suffered this year. So the first injury was the oblique injury that had him out from April 24th to May 20th, in which he missed 24 games because of. And the second one came 2 months later, which he was out from July 22nd to August 28th. So now what are the reasons I bring this up? And you're going to see this in some of the stats that I'm about to read to you. So before JP Crawford's oblique injury, he was not doing too hot. JP had played in 22 games to start the season where he was hitting 198 with an 82 WRC plus and only 8.2 WAR. So mind you, like I said, this was the first 22 games of the season before the oblique injury. And as we know, he would go on to miss 24 games. And coming back from that oblique injury, he played for about 2.5 months where he played in 55 games where he hit 207 with a 98 WRC plus, a 1.1 WAR, and also had 7 home runs. So this was definitely JP's best stretch of the season before the pinky injury came around. And unfortunately for JP and Mariners fans, JP did not do very well once returning from the pinky injury. He played in 28 games where he hit 194 with a 79 WRC plus and 8.2 WAR. So that is one thing that I definitely do not think is discussed enough from Seattle Mariners fans, is how much these injuries really affected him and how he really just couldn't put it together. So JP ended up finishing with an 89 WRC plus, a 1.6 WAR, and a 202 batting average with only 9 home runs, coming off a season where he had 19. So I guess JP's stats in 2024 is where this question comes from, and should the Mariners really consider trading him off? Like I said, looking into his career statistics, 2023 was definitely his best year by far in terms of power, just all around baseball player. It was his best season. So that raises the question, was 2023 a fluke? As we know, JP worked with Driveline a lot heading into that 2023 season as well as after the 2023 season, but I think these injuries really had a major impact on his 2024 season. So that leaves the question up to us, and obviously the front office was 2023 a fluke? And in my mind, I don't think it was. I think JP, with these injuries, just really could not put it together and find his groove. So I think, in my opinion, 2023 definitely wasn't a fluke. Will he perform at that high of a level ever again? I'm not sure, but I definitely think JP has a few more 3-WAR seasons in him. Also, JP Crawford had one of the highest strikeout rates in his career. I'm not counting the 2017 and 2018 seasons with the Phillies where he played in 23 games and 49 games, but it was his highest in which he's put a full season together. He had a 22.6% K rate, which is his highest in a Mariners uniform since 2019, where he had a 21% K rate. Every other season has been beneath 20%. So as we know, that is option number 1. There are teams out there such as the Milwaukee Brewers and the San Diego Padres who do have arguably the best free agent shortstops coming into the 2025 class. Obviously, it depends what those teams end up doing, and I will go into that a little later in the video, but those are some options for where the Mariners could trade JP off to. Now, before going into those free agent options, the Mariners do have the ability, and I personally have said this in a previous video, that JP has the ability and the athleticism to go over and play second base if they really needed him to. And being the leader and captain that JP is, we all know that he just wants to win, and I don't think if that's what is supposed to be best for the Mariners going forward, he would not complain. Now, obviously, the third option is leaving JP at shortstop and letting him ride that out for the next 2 years, or maybe reevaluate after the 2025 season. That is the most obvious option. So pivoting a little bit into the free agents for shortstops, in my personal opinion, the best 2 options on the free agent market, and one technically isn't a free agent yet because he does have a mutual option, but that is Willy Adames and Hong-Sung Kim. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. You guys know I'm terrible at pronouncing names. So these next few graphics you're going to see are from baseballamerica.com, so shout out for them, but these are these 2 players past 3 seasons, and as you can see, Kim had very good seasons. 2024 was kind of a rough year for him. He did get injured, I believe, but he did play 121 games at shortstop. And like I said, he does have a mutual option, which essentially means that him and the team both have to agree to pick up the option for that to go through. He does have a $2 million buyout, as well as mutual options aren't usually picked up, but we'll see what goes forward with that. But that is option number one and arguably the second best option in the shortstop free agent market. Now, I don't think this first and best option comes as much of a surprise, but Willy Adames is the first option and probably the best option on the shortstop market going into this offseason. As you can see, he has put together very good seasons. He struggled a little bit in 2023, but definitely had a massive bounce back in 2024. One thing that I've also said in a previous video is Willy Adames coming to Seattle would be awesome in my personal opinion. I don't think he would struggle in terms of power in T-Mobile. He hits a lot of home runs, but one thing you do have to consider is he does strike out a lot. So I don't think K percentage is as important of a statistic as we thought it was a few years ago. So I guess in my personal opinion, should the Seattle Mariners trade off JP Crawford and maybe get another shortstop or another infielder? As we know, the infield is one of the biggest needs and improvements that the Mariners need to take into consideration this offseason. But my answer would be no. I don't think 2023 was a fluke for JP. I think 2024 was honestly the fluke because of the injuries, and he just really never found his stride. JP Crawford's career high in home runs before 2023 was 9 home runs back in 2021. And he had 9 this year, in which he was injured a lot of those games. So I think the power has definitely been found in JP Crawford's bat. It's just a matter of him being able to find that stride again. But please let me know what you guys think the Mariners should do about JP Crawford, whether that's trading him, leaving him at shortstop, or moving him over to second base. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.